Hold on to your seats, folks. Mr. Kiesel lays it all on the line, stating that the paternity results today could make or break his marriage. He shares his turmoil after discovering the child his wife is expecting might not be his, emphasizing the deep emotional stakes and his fierce desire to keep his family together. What unfolds next will have you on the edge of your seat.
This is a case of Kiesel versus Kiesel.
You say your marriage depends on today's paternity results after your wife announced the child she is currently pregnant with may not be yours. You are here to prove you are the father and save your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it gets spicy. Mrs. Kiesel drops a bombshell in the courtroom by admitting that another man could be the father of her unborn child. Her confession adds layers of complexity to the case and highlights the emotional turmoil she's wrestling with, affecting her marriage deeply. Brace yourselves, because the courtroom drama intensifies from here.
You say it breaks your heart to stand in court to prove that your husband is not your unborn child's father, but you know the truth. Another man is.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plot thickens. The couple delves into how the infidelity revelation has rocked their marriage to its core, leading to relentless arguments and a heavy emotional toll. This segment paints a vivid picture of the deep personal and relationship turmoil sparked by the uncertainty of paternity. And guess what? It only gets more heated.
My marriage has been put on the line. A month into our marriage, he had cheated on me. It led to where I might not be the father of this child. It was supposed to be a happy, great thing for us, and it's just problems and heartbreak and lots of issues for us.
What is your day-to-day family life like?
It's caused us a lot of issues. We argue nonstop about who the father is. It causes us to be very distant from each other.
Get ready for an emotional roller coaster. Mrs. Kiesel describes the severe strain the paternity issue has put on both their marriage and her pregnancy. She talks about the cancellation of their baby shower due to the feud between potential fathers' families, illustrating the extensive impact of the situation. Hang tight. The next twist is just around the corner.
It has affected me in a huge way, not only just our marriage, pregnancy as well, because it's hard for me to necessarily, yes, I'm excited for it, but it makes it harder when there's so much stress put into the pregnancy, rather than being everybody together, having a good, for like a baby shower.
You're not going to believe this explanation. Mrs. Kiesel sheds light on the rushed nature of their relationship and marriage, confessing that she wasn't over her ex, which led to her infidelity. This revelation offers a glimpse into the personal conflicts that led to this courtroom drama. The emotional revelations keep coming, so stay tuned.
Really rushed into a relationship. We had been dating on and off, but it was back and forth with my ex. We both have broke up a couple of times while we were dating. And then when we got married, it just was kind of like a let's go do this kind of thing. It was not necessarily young, but quick. So that I think has a big effect on it, is because I wasn't fully over my ex.
Grab some tissues for this one. Mr. Kiesel shares the crushing moment he learned the pregnancy he had celebrated might end with a child that isn't his. This poignant moment highlights his vulnerability and the stark shift from joy to despair in his life. Just when you think it can't get any more dramatic, it does.
Because you hope to conceive a child, you have to get the news that, oh no, but you cheated.
We had been trying for a while, and she was in the bathroom. She walked out, told me she was pregnant, and I asked why she was crying. And she told me that there's a possibility that I might not be the father. I broke down myself. Thing that was supposed to be great, we'd been trying. We finally got it. I might not even be the father of it.
Can you feel the tension? Mr. Kiesel clutches at straws, hoping physical similarities seen in ultrasound images, like the nose and lips, might prove his biological connection to the child. His desperate grasp for familial ties amidst uncertainty is touching yet fraught with anxiety. What comes next will surprise you.
We have a nose that looks a lot alike. Mine goes down and then bubbles at the end. With the ultrasounds that we had, the child had the same kind of nose.
It appears that you have a similar nose to the child.
We have fat upper lips. I see it in the ultrasound as well.
I want our marriage to work, and I want everything to be fine. And
get ready for some expert insights. Dr. Samantha Brown Parks steps in to discuss the hereditary nature of clubfoot, a condition Mr. Kiesel hopes might link him to the child. This expert testimony introduces a scientific angle to the paternity puzzle, thickening the plot as we near the big reveal. The suspense is building, folks.
Whether or not Mr. Kiesel is this child's biological father. Having a physical condition that runs in his family, a clubfoot. Is this something that is hereditary?
So clubfoot happens in about 1 in 1,000 live births in the U.S. Fairly common birth defect. 1/4 of those have a family history of someone having a clubfoot also.
And now, a moment we've all been waiting for. The courtroom holds its breath as the paternity results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kiesel, you are the father.
All right, grab your popcorn. This is where it gets good. Miss Wandick steps up with a mission to prove Mr. Stampley's paternity of her little one. She's not just here to clear the air. She's here to drop some serious family truth bombs. The plot thickens, and oh, it's about to get juicy.
For $79.40 for baby clothing, you gave you and dumped it in a neighbor's driveway.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're also seeking the results of a paternity test to prove once and for all is the father of your...
Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Stampley teases the court with a mystery guest waiting outside, ready to flip the case on its head. This cliffhanger could change everything. Stay tuned because the next scene is a doozy.
Furthermore, you say you have good reason to doubt you are not her child's father. You claim to have brought a witness who is waiting outside of the courtroom who will turn the side down.
Here comes the drama train. Choo-choo. Miss Wandick recounts the saga of the airborne baby clothes, flung by Mr. Stampley in a spectacular display of baby shower fireworks. This isn't just a fight over onesies, it's daytime court TV gold. What happens next is even more bizarre. You'll see.
Brought over baby clothes to my sister's house, and we had got into an argument to the neighbor's house, and why would he do that when he bought the clothes for the baby? Not me, but for the baby. It was a gift, though, Your Honor, that's why I'm suing.
Hold the phone, it gets better. Mr. Stampley spills his guts about his financial gripes and paternity doubts, making a case that he might have been hoodwinked into throwing a baby shower. His story adds a dash of Maury to the mix, raising the stakes. Watch out for the next revelation. It's a head spinner.
You, Mr. Stampley, you're going for $410 for a baby shower. For Ms. Wandick, thought she was carrying your child. So at this point, did you have doubts that the child was yours? You say she duped you. You don't look duped right there.
Well, Your Honor, I feel I was suckered and sweet talked into this baby shower.
You can't make this stuff up. The courtroom dives into the nitty-gritty of their rocky romance, complete with confessions of cheating. This segment delivers all the feels and a few oh no she didn't moments. Hang tight, because the roller coaster is heading to a wild twist.
You just said you pretty much asked her to have a child. You say that?
No, Your Honor.
So you had no interest in this relationship?
I didn't expect for it to, I just wanted to remain as...
No, we didn't, Your Honor. Not
and
one
so,
time.
when you found out you were pregnant...
I'm
I
pregnant.
went away for 30 days, Your Honor. I went to jail.
Bet you didn't see this coming. We explore how Mr. Stampley's stint behind bars stirred the pot in their love stew. The trust is crumbling, and the love boat is definitely rocking. The upcoming testimony, it's like reality TV on steroids.
Returning home from jail, I was over at a friend's house. She was acting real funny, so
Your
I just
Honor.
asked her, I said, man, did you cheat? I started feeling some type of way. I'm like, did you cheat on me? I mean, what's going on? Yeah, I did cheat.
Oh.
So she admitted that she cheated.
I did, Your Honor. I admitted that I
did
cheated
admit.
on him. Like he said, we was at his friend's house.
Time for some truth tea. The secret witness finally makes an entrance, ready to spill the beans and possibly shatter Mr. Stampley's world. This testimony isn't just revealing, it's explosive. Brace yourself, because the DNA results are up next, and they're a real game changer.
And your relationship to the defendant is?
Yes, ma'am.
But you are the defendant's witness. What do you know about this?
I caught my sister cheating on Mr. Stampley
Scandalous.
while he was incarcerated. I was taking my kid home. When I returned home, she was in the bedroom with another man.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. The DNA results light up the courtroom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stampley, you are her father.
You won't believe this kickoff. The judge loudly announces the case of Fondoyan versus Roland. Ms. Fondoyan strides in, ready to prove that her 3-month-old son, Ezekiel, shares DNA with her boyfriend of over a decade. She argues his denial is wreaking havoc on their already rocky relationship. Buckle up, because the courtroom drama is just starting to heat up.
Ms. Fondoyan, you are here to prove to your on-again, off-again boyfriend of 12 years that your 3-month-old son, Ezekiel, is biological child. Say the paternity denial is drawing your relationship, and you need today's results to repair the breakdown in your family.
Yes.
Here comes a curveball. Mr. Roland is throwing down the gauntlet, casting doubt on his fatherhood by pointing fingers at another potential dad due to Ms. Fondoyan's close timeline with another relation. With a family friend in tow, they're here to shake up the claims. Grab your popcorn, the next part is a doozy.
You say Ms. Fondoyan was in a sexual relationship with another man weeks before you learned of pregnancy, and you and your mother's best friend are here to prove her son Ezekiel is not biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
Things are heating up. Tempers flare as a fiery exchange breaks out over who the real daddy might be. The judge steps in to dial down the dramas, insisting on courtroom decorum. Ms. Fondoyan stands her ground, confident in her calendar and sure of the father's identity. Hang on.
He keeps denying my son, constantly denying him. Family is always putting a bug in his ear. It's not your child. He don't look like
That is
him.
not my child at all.
Yo, but you're gonna see me. I know who I slept with.
But me, you was with somebody else at the same time. Like,
I know who I lay in bed with, and I know the days I thank you very much.
Gonna have to use court-appropriate language.
Oh, the plot thickens. Ms. Fondoyan spills the tea on finding Mr. Roland sporting a fresh set of hickeys after vanishing for 2 days. He counters, claiming their off-again status gave him the freedom to frolic. The story twists next, so stay tuned.
This man says he's going to the store. Going to the store, you know, you wouldn't think nothing of it. Your man going to the store. 2 days, where you at? I go to his family house, and what do I see? Opens the door with a chain of hickeys all over his neck.
Mr. Roland, why did you have hickeys all on your neck?
Because we weren't together. I was able to do whatever I feel like, Your Honor.
No, we were together.
We were not together. She thought we were not together.
Twist and shout. After waiting fruitlessly for Mr. Roland, Ms. Fondoyan throws caution to the wind and picks up a new beau in Albany, stirring the pot as Roland admits to juggling not one, but 2 other women during their breaks. The love polygon unfolds further just ahead.
I patiently waited for him to come back. I waited a month and a half. He ain't come back. I said, you know what?
How? If you went to Albany and picked up a whole new...
Sure did. After a whole month and a half, you want to be
okay, you was already dating somebody else.
Females around your arms making me look stupid in the streets. And I picked up a friend that actually did something you couldn't do.
Can anyone keep up? Despite the chaos of their on and off romance, 2 find themselves magnetically drawn back together, creating a whirlwind of custody claims and paternity puzzles. Their complex love saga dives into deeper waters next.
He kept coming back, Your Honor, like a tail.
No. You kept calling me.
And I just kept taking him in. You know, we already have one together. Why not? So I'm going to sleep with you.
She was sleeping at the same time with someone else.
First, yes, I went back and forth.
Yeah, so how are you going to try to pin this child on me?
Because
personally,
I know what
that is not my child. That is not my child, Tanya.
Hold the phone. A buddy of Mr. Roland's throws a wrench in the works, accusing Ms. Fondoyan of dodgy date doctoring to pin the paternity on Roland. As suspicions swirl, the evidence tabled next could turn the tide.
I went to the doctor's office, gave me my due date, and it falls onto the days that we were messing around.
Saying you were still messing with him on the 7th, then you messing with me on the 8th, and found out you're pregnant, so okay then. So there you go.
You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Fondoyan whips out a calendar loaded with liaisons, blurring the lines on when conception could have occurred. The court huddles over this pivotal plot point, dissecting dates like a CSI episode. What's revealed next will throw you for a loop.
So, Ms. Fondoyan, you submitted a calendar to the court, outlines the window of time you were having sex with Mr. Roland again. You say you started to have sex with him again on May. If we go to the next page, you also indicated you were having sex with other man where it's outlined in red. May go to the window of conception.
This just in, living together but not together. They unveil a living situation straight out of a sitcom, sharing a roof but not a bed, adding layers to their already tangled tale. The drama intensifies further in the coming clip.
And she will go upstairs while I'm downstairs in the same house again.
We wasn't together.
Excuse my language.
You weren't together, but you were living together?
He has no place to go.
But you need me though. But you want me to be the father though, right?
I know.
Want me to be the father.
Well, you better man up. You're not leaving this house and let the next man lay in your bed.
Moment of truth. Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Roland, you are the father.
The stage is set for some courtroom drama. Ms. Harris kicks things off by claiming that her roller coaster relationship of 15 years with Mr. Sterling has resulted in a little one, who Mr. Sterling is apparently not eager to claim. She's here to set the record straight and make him face his responsibilities. Strap in, folks, because this is just the warm-up.
Ms. Harris, you claim that your 15-year on and off relationship with Mr. Sterling has produced a baby that he is trying to get out of helping raise. To prove paternity, force him to step up.
All right, Jan.
Sterling steps up, and boy, does he look shook. He lays out his side of the story, frustrated and fed up, denying the child is his. He's looking for a DNA test to cut ties and hopes to wipe his hands clean of the whole affair. You'll want to stick around because Ms. Harris is about to turn up the heat.
Mr. Sterling, you say plaintiff told you her son, Kason, was not yours, and you are tired of care of another man's baby. You've come to get the DNA you need to remove your name from the birth certificate, finally get Ms. Harris of your life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things get real as we hear about the baby's first birthday. The courtroom gets a dose of reality with talks of first birthdays and more, pulling at the heartstrings of everyone listening. This is not just about the drama, it's personal. Just when you think it can't get more intense, the accusations start to fly.
So he'll be 1. I had him on my birthday last year.
And so, Mr. Sterling, it's almost 1 year. No help, no support?
That's not my baby, and I'm going off of what Charity is telling me. True.
It is his baby.
She tells me when we get to arguing.
Because he get on my nerves, and I don't want him to be in my life. Like, he want to move on and move out his life. I do too sometimes. I hate I even met him.
And the gloves come. The accusations Accusations fly as both sides dive into a tit-for-tat about cheating and who's responsible for what. It paints a not-so-pretty picture of their tumultuous time together. Next up, watch as they try to untangle their messy timeline.
And he was cheating the whole time I was pregnant.
That is a negative.
That
is a negative.
Even if he was cheating, that's bad enough, and we don't want known that in this courtroom. Question concerning paternity would surround whether or not we're sleeping with somebody else.
No.
Judge Lake dives into the nitty-gritty with a calendar. The judge tries to piece together the puzzle of their relationship timeline with the help of a calendar Mr. Sterling brought. Each date seems to thicken the plot. Hang tight, because Ms. Harris is about to drop some knowledge.
And you submitted calendar to the court. First date on this calendar says the doctor's appointment was on March 21st. And the doctor says in Ms. Harris 6 to 8 weeks. And you had on Valentine's. If we count back 6 to 8 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, that is the last in January.
Confusion is the game, and they're playing in the big leagues. The court struggles through a fog of misunderstood medical terms and pregnancy dates. It's like a bad game of telephone with high stakes. Buckle up, as a bombshell revelation is just around the corner.
Grown women that stand in this courtroom that don't completely understand workings of their reproductive organs and systems. What is your doubt based on? Believe this baby is yours. And he's trying to say to me, these are my reasons. Number one, she told me I wasn't. Number two, I did the calculation. This is what I came up with. This evidence he submitted to the court. Right.
Oh snap, plot twist. Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Sterling drops a bomb about another possible dad in the mix, and it's a heartbreaker. The plot thickens, and so does the tension. Watch as they navigate this emotional minefield up next.
When she was 8 months pregnant, she told me that it was another guy who could be the baby's father. It broke my heart.
First of all, that's a lie.
What happened?
We had an argument, brung that up. I don't know if she was mad or what. Planted doubt in my head.
Lied.
She said, don't worry, you not my baby's father anyway. Like, go on, kick rocks, get on with your life or whatever. I'm like, what? We were just together. I was just, you know, the baby's father and everything.
Tempers flare and the drama skyrockets. Their words cut deep as they air their dirty laundry for all to hear. It's a verbal tug of war with the child's future hanging in the balance. Don't go anywhere. Next part is a doozy.
Things happen. Either you're the dad or you're not.
She is a lie. That's the reason we here today.
Exactly, because you're a liar. You need to step up pretty much.
I don't want another man's child.
You want yourself.
I love that little boy.
You know
that.
Like you just don't want to take
That's
care
the
of
reason you want me to be.
You don't take care of yourself or the child that you already.
Sit
here and kick it like that, baby.
Ain't got nothing to do with this situation.
I'm just letting you know. Kick it like you do now.
Here comes the kicker about the birth certificate. Mr. Sterling signed the birth certificate despite his doubts, a move that's loaded with implications about his feelings and doubts. The emotional roller coaster isn't over yet. The reactions are priceless.
Here is the birth certificate that he signed.
Let me see that, Jerome. Let me see the birth certificate.
That's your brain.
No, that's your brain.
So this is evidence of Kason Sterling's birth certificate has signed as father. Why execute the birth certificate if you know you have doubt?
Like at the 8 months when we got into it, I thought it was just because she might have been, maybe she did just say this out of the side of her.
You cheated, you lied, and you wrong.
A quick chuckle breaks the tension. In the midst of the chaos, Mr. Sterling recalls the lighter moments of supporting Ms. Harris during her pregnancy. It's a brief laugh in the middle of a storm. Next, the stakes get even higher. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
He's trying to jump.
Baby,
I'm out. No, don't worry, Miss Harris. I'm not laughing.
I rubbed them big old.
We're not laughing at you, Miss Harris. I'm laughing with you though because I was looking at some old pics when I was 8, 9 months pregnant. I mean, my feet were huge. Like it's crazy.
Sexy, and I own
So I know that's right.
Judge Lake brings it all back to what matters most. She cuts through the noise, reminding everyone that at the heart of this circus is a child who needs stability. The grand finale is coming up, and it's going to be a jaw-dropper.
The answers relating Kason's paternity. That's why we're here. And the truth is, if it's determined he's biological father, whether he likes responsibility or he does not, he will have. Because if he does not take care of it, the court will ensure that he does. So now, let's get to Mr. Sterling. What is your hope?
I do, Yon. I done grown a bond with him. Like, he calls me daddy.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Sterling, you are the father.
Exactly.
Buckle up, folks! Miss Taylor steps up, asserting that Mr. Brown is indeed the father of her 3-month-old daughter, Melanie. She's also chasing him for a neat sum of $22.56 in childcare costs the baby's first few months. He's fired up and ready to prove her case. And boy, does she mean business. Let's see how Mr. Brown handles this fastball.
You're here today to prove to Mr. Brown that he is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Melanie Brown. Miss Taylor, you're also suing Mr. Brown for $256 in childcare expenses for the past 3 months of your child's life.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Brown swings back, suggesting that maybe Miss Taylor was already pregnant by another man when they first got together. He's not just throwing shade, he's practically causing an eclipse his claim that she's got baby fever. What's she going to throw back? Stay tuned, it's getting spicy.
Mr. Brown, you say Miss Taylor is obsessed with children and has baby fever.
Yes.
And you believe she may have already been pregnant by another man the first night you had sex.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, the drama unfolds. During a heated confrontation, Miss Taylor quizzes Mr. Brown about what he's actually done for their baby since she was born. His answer, couple of packs of cheap diapers, that's all folks. And guess what? Those diapers caused a rash that sent the baby to the hospital. Grab your popcorn, because this soap opera is just getting started.
He haven't did nothing for her. All he did was bought her 2 packs of cheap diapers, and I let my baby wear them. And 2 days later, she got a diaper rash, and I had to take my baby. And I called him to tell him that she got a diaper rash. He said, "So what I supposed to do? That ain't my baby."
So you bought some cheap diapers because you didn't think it was your baby?
Yes, I mean, it was better than nothing, I thought, because I didn't really know whether it was my baby or not, so.
You can't make this stuff up. We dive into their backstory. They met at a club during Miss Taylor's 18th birthday bash. Mr. Brown, the charming older man at 32, seemed like a catch at the time. But as we peel back the layers, it's clear this relationship started on shaky ground. What's next in this telenovela? You won't want to miss it.
I met him at the club. It was right after my 18th birthday, and I went to making and dancing with my friends. And he came up to me and was like, "You're beautiful, and I like to get to know you." And back to his place.
Well, she was more asking me to my place.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. He was coming on to me.
He came up to you in the club, and he was how old?
32.
Did he really just say that? In a tit-for-tat exchange, Miss Taylor accuses Mr. Brown of being all about babies on their first night together. He denies it, suggesting she might have been the one with a bun already in the oven. The accusations are flying faster than a reality TV reunion special. What will the judge make of all this? It's about to go down.
This is my first time meeting her. She talking about, "Oh, do you like babies?" or "How do you feel about?" I'm thinking that she was already pregnant.
And yet you still went ahead and had sex with her.
Yes.
That should have been a note to self. Or a extended play booty call.
It was just a booty call.
What was this?
This is a booty call.
32-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl.
And the plot thickens. Miss Taylor lays it out. Mr. Brown has been about as helpful as a chocolate teapot, only showing up sporadically and contributing next to nothing. She's calling him out big time in front of the judge. How will he wriggle out of this one? Keep watching. The judge's reaction is up next, and it's a doozy.
Your Honor, only reason I went back to his place because I feel more than what it came out to be, because I thought he would be more mature because he was interesting to older men, but he turned out just to be like the rest of them.
Father figure or father for her baby.
Because you
are the father of my baby.
She was already.
Yes.
I was not, Your Honor.
The first time we used a condom. The second time we
If I was already pregnant, how come my baby 3 months?
You'll want to lean in for this. As the debate heats up, they spar over Mr. Brown's lack of involvement and his dismissive reaction when he found out about the pregnancy. Miss Taylor is on a mission to prove him wrong, but Mr. Brown is as slippery as an eel. The courtroom is electric. What will happen when the judge steps in?
He said, "We only 3 times. I wore a condom today, my baby. You need to go
so
find your baby daddy."
So he immediately denied the baby?
Yes.
Because Mr. Brown,
okay, she needs to find her baby daddy.
You are my baby daddy.
I started doing some research on, and I found some colored pictures of her.
What is this, sir?
And she portrayed herself to be such a good girl.
And these are pictures of what?
Around the time she said she got pregnant.
So you found these pictures?
Right. I was trying to find the baby daddy for her.
Here comes a curveball. The judge digs into Mr. Brown's history, uncovering his minimal involvement during the pregnancy and questioning his sudden interest now. The air's thick with tension. You could cut it with a knife. What explosive evidence will come out next?
You go through your whole pregnancy by yourself?
He only came around like 3 times when he wanted to have sex.
Is he in the delivery room with you?
I had the baby and he held the baby. I have a picture of him holding the baby.
We only had sex once.
And then he said 5 minutes. Then he said he was going to smoke a cigarette and he never came back, Your Honor.
Because I didn't feel a bond.
See, this is a picture here of you.
It's getting hotter in here. A birth certificate and a photograph of Mr. Brown holding the baby are thrown into the mix. He looks about as comfortable as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. How will he explain this one away? The courtroom is on the edge of its seats as we roll into the grand finale.
And then you go outside, you tell her I'm going to smoke, and you never come back.
Because my other baby, as soon as I held the baby, I felt a bond.
So you are a father?
Yes.
How many other children do you have?
5.
Did you put him on the birth certificate?
Yes.
You put his name down?
Yes.
You have a copy of that birth certificate?
I never put my name on there. I didn't know my name was even on there.
So this is a copy of Melanie's birth certificate.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there.
Here's the showstopper. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you.
The courtroom is buzzing right from the get-go as we dive into the drama. The case of Stovall versus Hines kicks off with high stakes. Mrs. Stovall is determined to prove Mr. Hines fathered her 4-month-old son Robert, hopes of reuniting and marrying. Mr. Hines, however, casts doubt on his paternity due to her alleged infidelity, claiming her actions don't line up with her words. The scene is set, and you won't believe what's coming next.
Ms. Stovall, you say nothing could mean more to you than today's paternity results. You are desperate to Mr. Hines that he fathered your 4-month-old son Robert with the hope you can win him back and one day get married.
As the tension thickens, Mr. Hines lays out his heartbreak in no uncertain terms. He believes another man fathered the child and expresses willingness to reconcile if the DNA results are surprising, detailing his emotional turmoil despite once loving Ms. Stovall deeply. Just when you think it's tense, Ms. Stovall's response adds another layer.
Mr. Hines, you claim you once loved Ms. Stovall, but believe her baby was fathered by another man and therefore can't be with her. You say your proof is overwhelming, the DNA results shock you, consider getting back together.
Emotions are high as Ms. Stovall takes the floor, pouring her heart out. She discusses her undying love for Mr. Hines and her determination to prove paternity to mend their fractured relationship. Mr. Hines counters with doubts about the baby's paternity due to what he sees as serious inconsistencies in her action. Buckle up because their relationship backstory is about to unfold.
I really love Mr. Hines and just want to prove today that this is his son so that we can be together and hopefully get married one day.
But you have doubts, Mr. Hines.
Yes, I have doubts because although I do have a lot of love for Miss Stovall and I've given a lot to her and sacrificed a lot, there's just so much things that she has done that has created a lot of doubt and a lot of discrepancies of if this really is and truly my son.
Here comes a trip down memory lane with a twist. The court dives into the couple's past relationship dynamic. Mr. Hines recalls how their romance rekindled through a modern love story involving Instagram DMs, leading to a deeper connection. However, emerging doubts fueled by potential infidelity signaled trouble. The revelations keep piling up, and what's next is even more jaw-dropping.
I met Miss Stovall when I was 17. She was about 21. As time went by, I got older. I got more established in myself, and I seen her again on Insta, exchanged DMs and everything. As that relationship progressed, started getting deeper and deeper. But as we got deeper and deeper in, there started to be red flags for me. Might not be as faithful as she say she is.
What kind of red flags?
Exchange passwords. She went through my stuff, I went through her stuff.
As the plot thickens, trust issues take center stage. Mr. Hines describes a slew of questionable activities and Ms. Stovall's provocative actions, including sending Mr. Hines pictures with other men, which she claims were just friends. As the trust continues to crumble, get ready for a bombshell piece of evidence that changes everything.
If I was to elaborate, she has a lot of instances where she'll run off. I won't have track of her for hours on end. Times where her phone where it'll go straight to voicemail. She'll run off with friends. I'll see these messages. I'll see these interactions on Facebook, and it just keeps happening. It's not something that's just a one-time thing.
Ms. Stovall?
Your Honor, he's very jealous and very overprotective.
Hold on to your seats because the evidence just got real. Photos sent by Ms. Stovall during heated moments are displayed, adding fuel to the fire of jealousy and doubt about the child's paternity. These images stir up a storm in the courtroom, paving the way for an intense scrutiny of their timeline, a crucial piece of this puzzle.
Stovall, you sent him pictures of you with other men?
They were friends of mine. Never sexual between me and those friends.
Okay, so did anybody bring some pictures? Does anybody bring some evidence?
The first one is a picture of her when she got into it with her mother over there, making me question the paternity with this other guy, saying that we're good, we're straight.
And this attached to some type of mess where paternity was questioned?
Yes.
The plot takes a twist as Mr. Hines presents a detailed timeline surrounding the conception of their child. He correlates their relationship's tumultuous breaks and reconciliations with the pregnancy timeline, using a calendar to mark suspected conception times during their separation. Strap in, because a family member's testimony is about to throw a curveball into the mix.
This calendar.
Jerome, will you please hand up Mr. Hines' evidence? What is this, sir?
This right here is just inception and how the conception worked. Would it be okay if I walk up?
Yes, you may approach.
Something. Early June. She was living with me and my mother and my stepfather at the time because we all had another. She was living there. Came back from work. She said she went out with a friend and she hasn't been back since such and such time.
You won't see this coming. A surprise witness steps up. Ms. Stovall's mother takes the stand, offering her reluctant endorsement of Mr. Hines as the biological father, despite her reservations about the couple's volatile relationship. She hints at the possibility of other biological fathers, given her daughter's questionable behavior. Just when you think you've heard it all, DNA results are about to drop.
Do you think Mr. Hines is your grandson's biological father?
Yes. I don't want him to be, but...
And you've heard the testimony thus far concerning pictures she sent, compromising photos, videos, men talking to her on Facebook, that there could be another biological father. Okay, so
it's always a possibility. I wasn't there if she did that, so I can't say that.
So what you're saying
I don't
is you
believe
can't
that.
say for certain.
Yeah.
As the courtroom holds its breath, DNA results are finally revealed.
Mr. Hines, you are the father.
Can you believe we're actually starting? Judge introduces the case as Haynes v. Manning. Mr. Haynes claims he is the father of Ms. Manning's 4-year-old daughter, Zoe, despite Ms. Manning's current denial, having previously affirmed his paternity. Grab your popcorn, because this is just the beginning.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Haynes versus Manning.
You have brought Ms. Manning to court today to prove you are the father of her 4-year-old daughter, Zoe. You say Ms. Manning initially knew that you were Zoe's dad, but now is claiming you are father.
Yes, Honor.
The plot thickens early on here. Mr. Haynes expresses his certainty that Zoe is his daughter, sharing that Ms. Manning sent him a picture of Zoe, which led him to believe Zoe resembled his son. This resemblance reinforced his belief in his paternity. Buckle up. Roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, Zoe is your daughter.
Yes.
And so why?
Manning sent me a picture and thought it was my son at first. It was actually Zoe. So I took a picture of my son and I compared it, and that's when she was my...
Ms. Manning, you are convinced Mr. Haynes is not biological father.
Did anyone see that curveball coming? The relationship history between Mr. Haynes and Ms. Manning is explored. They met when Mr. Haynes was getting a tattoo at her residence and dated briefly. Ms. Manning ended the relationship, prompting Mr. Haynes to reconnect with his ex, mother of his son. Wait until you hear what's up next.
First, let me understand, what was the nature of your relationship?
First met when I was getting a tattoo, and it was at residence, and we only dated for a short period of time until she ended the relationship. So I ended up moving on, got with my ex now, my son's mom.
Was it a committed relationship when you dated, or were you dating other people?
It was a committed relationship.
Things are getting juicy now. Ms. Manning explains the timing of her pregnancy announcement to Mr. Haynes, clarifying that she only told him about the possibility of him being the father when Zoe was 9 months old, despite having the baby without his knowledge. Keep your eyes peeled, because there's more drama ahead.
I didn't inform him he's a possibility until she was like 9 months old.
So you had the baby, and Mr. Haynes never knew. And you had the baby all the way till she was 9 months old. And then you informed Mr. Haynes that he was a possibility. What made you send the photo?
He asked for a photo of her.
And I did not ask photo. I didn't even
When
know
I told
about it.
him that I was pregnant.
You're not going to believe this twist. Ms. Manning reveals she sent a photo of Zoe to Mr. Haynes upon his request, which came after she reached out to inform him about the possibility of his paternity. Strap in, because the revelations just keep coming.
You all were just having conversation. He just reached out to you out of the blue and said, I want to see a picture of Zoe. How did this happen?
I reached out to him.
And what did you say?
Had a baby, possibility, she's yours.
And so he said, send me a picture. And that's what you sent. And once he acknowledged that I believe this is my daughter, what did you say?
I've never told him he was father, and I've never told him he wasn't. It's always been, there's a possibility. And the fact that he's waited 4 years to take a paternity test.
Here's where things get really tangled. Mr. Haynes presents a timeline detailing his interactions and the fluctuating information about his paternity from Ms. Manning, who has alternately affirmed and denied his role as Zoe's father. The truth is around the corner, and it's a doozy.
So, Mr. Haynes, you submitted a timeline to the court. Will you?
March of 2014 is when I received the photo, Zoe, but like I told you guys just previous that I thought it was my son. Then I found out it wasn't.
And you felt like she sent you the picture because she was your child. So you're thinking you are the father.
Yes. Hold on to your seats. This is a wild ride. Testimonies are presented on the confusing and emotionally charged exchanges about Zoe's paternity, highlighting Ms. Manning's inconsistent claims, which she admits might be influenced by her emotions during arguments. Just when you think you've seen it all, there's more to come.
Where is this proof that I have said you are and you are not father? Because I feel like if I have said that, he would have kept it. And how did it get over my head?
Actually, they've had a conversation where she said, I may have said that only because I'm angry at you.
Did you ever admit to that, Miss Manning, that look, I may be saying things because you getting on my last nerve, I'm angry, and I'm just mad, and sometimes I don't want to be bothered with you?
This moment might just break your heart a little. The emotional toll on Zoe is discussed. Ms. Manning admits hoping Mr. Haynes is the father, despite her assertions to the contrary, reflecting her desire for Zoe to have a committed paternal figure in her life. The next revelation is a real jaw-dropper.
Just want to find out the truth because it's been almost 4 years of going back into that I'm the father. So I just want the proof.
And you want to be her father?
Yes.
And he's admittedly not been around, so carrying this burden by yourself. This court, Mr. Haynes, you are not the father.
Strap in for a wild ride. Ms. Hayes opens up with a bombshell, accusing her sister, the defendant, of having a child with her husband. This revelation sets the stage for an explosive family drama filled with betrayal and high emotions. You won't believe how this unfolds, so keep watching.
Ms. Hayes, you say that your sister, the defendant, claims to have a child with your husband of 10 years, and you have petitioned for a paternity test. And you are here to warn her that when he finds out her baby is not his today, probably never hear from him again.
Things just got real. In an emotional recount, Ms. Hayes describes walking in on her sister and husband together, stark naked. She delves into the personal betrayal and the shocking history of her sister's behavior with her previous husbands. The plot thickens, so stay tuned for the next twist.
Ms. Hayes, how did your sister steal your husband?
I came home and found him and her in our bed naked, and I just, I can't believe it after everything I've done for her. To put it in my face and be in my bed and me walk in and catch him naked, why would it be any different? She slept with my first and my second husband.
He had me around each of them in the same predicament.
So you're not denying this,
No.
Ms. Hayes?
Here comes a curveball. Ms. Hayes paints a picture of her sister's troubled past, which includes battles with drugs and prostitution. She highlights her own role in her sister's rocky road to recovery, revealing the complex layers of their family dynamics. Hold tight, because the revelations are about to dive deeper.
I've had custody of this girl since she was 11. The choices that she made between our dad and her mom led her into drugs, prostitution, everything else. The latest time that I rescued you, I helped you get clean. I went to Chicago after not hearing from her for 7. The one time I did hear from her, she didn't even know who I was on the pounds, has sores all over her.
You thought you knew the whole story? Despite their fraught history and the deep wounds of past grievances, there was a time when the sisters shared a close bond, watching movies and spending time together before everything went south. But wait, there's more. Watch as the accusations start to fly.
I had been an addict and homeless for 15 years, and I didn't know how to be respectful. I didn't know how to be a woman. I didn't know how to be a lady. And it doesn't come overnight, and I go to detox for a week. When all this came about, I didn't go to my sister and say, I need sex or I feel lonely. We used to hang out in her room together, watch movies, whatever we would do.
So you guys, first you got along. You were sisters.
Just when it couldn't get more heated, the courtroom heats up with a fiery exchange about the nature of the sisters' relationship and the involvement of Ms. Hayes' husband. Both sisters are tossing blame like hot potatoes, questioning each other's integrity and motives. The courtroom drama intensifies, so don't blink now.
It's not about being the victim. You are one in a line of many. And let me say,
does that mean that you looked your husband in the eye and gave him permission to sleep with your sister?
Yes, I had been with him for 10 years. Right. She is probably about number 35 of the women that he'd been with.
You'll want to sit down for this one. Ms. Hayes drops a bombshell about the nature of her marriage, hinting it might have been more open than anyone expected, including tales of shared birthdays, extra guests. As the story unravels, brace yourself for even more jaw-dropping details.
They also had an open relationship. Shell has invited people, like on Corey's birthday, invited other women. They had an open relationship like that.
It wasn't an open relationship. There was a stripper that came to the house.
Her husband then approaches you. Is there any part of you that just says
that I'm still grateful for her? I did not go about our relationship the right way. Again, I was on drugs. Within a year's time, I didn't have everything perfected.
Not just family drama, but real-life consequences. The focus shifts to the tangible support given to the family, particularly the defendant's child, emphasizing the tangled web of support and conflict within the family. The narrative is building, and the next part will definitely raise some eyebrows.
The part I cannot understand. It sounds like to me, as crazy as it is,
the best thing
you gave them permission.
The best thing for me is take him away from me.
Do you believe if you've let them go off into the sunset, into this relationship, and you know they're together?
Well, actually, he's older than 6, and he raised a son that he believed was his for 6 years.
And the suspicion thickens. Ms. Hayes voices her skepticism about the paternity of her sister's child, casting doubt on her husband's ability to father the child given his past and a haunting belief in his infertility. The suspense is mounting, and the climax is just around the corner.
You saying to the court that you feel he's unable to have children,
she's not done with him, and she hopes Kayla's not his baby.
If I wanted him, came up to me, asked me to sleep with him, months ago I told you about it.
Ms. Hayes, I have to ask, is the reason why he's not the father of your sister's child because you think he's not able to have children?
Yes, part of it. She's got more than he does, that he's not a man.
Everyone's ears perked up for this. Finally, Mr. Hill steps up to the podium to give his side of the story, adding a fresh layer to the ongoing family saga and the burning question of paternity. The courtroom is on edge, and the revelations to come are nothing short of spectacular.
So, questions that you may not be this beautiful little girl's father. father. Are you also in question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not gonna lie. Deep down inside, some doubts is because of, I've been through this situation twice before. I took care of a child, 5 years. He's 15-year-old now. Took the DNA test. He wasn't mine.
This is it, folks. The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hill, you are her father.
The plot thickens early as Mr. Cooper dives into the deep end of doubt regarding his daughter's paternity, because his wife, Mrs. Cooper, might have shared more than just her time with another man. Mr. Cooper expresses his doubts about the paternity of his daughter due to his wife, Mrs. Cooper, having an affair around the time of conception. He reveals his motivation for driver, who was more than a little out of place in his living room. Mr. Cooper recounts discovering another man in his house. He returned home early due to a power outage. He describes a confrontation with the man, who was unaware that Mr. Cooper was still living there. This incident deepens his doubts about the paternity of his child. Just wait, it escalates from here.
I got sent home early. There was a power out, and as I'm pulling into the driveway, I see the black car. This guy walks in. The building didn't think nothing, so I took the guy out hallway. We had a man-to-man talk.
In a soap opera-worthy confession, Mrs. Cooper owns up to the affair, but throws a curveball by blaming Mr. Cooper's history of infidelity for her actions. Mrs. Cooper admits to the affair, but justifies her actions by highlighting Mick in their relationship. Buckle up. The roller coaster is just getting started.
On the outs, Walter has done me so much that at that time,
So you admit?
I admitted that I did cheat. He did not show no attention, no affection. There was nothingness. I mean, he didn't even look at me the same.
Just when you think they might patch things up, a particularly revealing argument. After Mrs. Cooper is caught cheating, Mr. Cooper narrates the sequence of events that led to a brief reconciliation, followed by Mrs. Cooper abruptly deciding to leave him and take their kids away, marking a significant escalation in their marital crisis. Keep your eyes peeled. Next part.
Got caught cheating. Mr. Cooper, fill in the blank.
After that particular incident, I thought we was getting things back in order, okay? She wakes up one day, I want to say it was a Monday. Not working anymore. I'm done, I'm out of here. She withdrew the kids from school. She had made a phone call. She was gone.
Is this true, Miss Cooper?
Yep, I left.
In a you can't make this up scenario, Mr. Cooper befriends the very man his wife cheated with without initially knowing his identity. The complexity increases as Mr. Cooper reveals he unknowingly became friends with the man Mrs. Cooper had an affair with. This bizarre twist adds a layer of personal betrayal to the already complicated situation. You think this is crazy? Just wait for what's next.
Now I know who the other guy is, and I actually...
We were just talking. There was going on between us when him and...
As the courtroom turns into a genetics class, Mrs. Cooper argues that there's a possibility of racial genetics influencing the child's appearance, with Mrs. Cooper asserting that the child's lighter skin could be due to a recessive gene, reflecting the tense intersection of family dynamics and racial identity. Strap in of secrets and lies, pushing for a resolution that might finally bring some peace. Ms. Moore, Mr. Cooper's mother, steps in to voice her perspective, emphasizing that just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, the next segment will flip the script.
So, Mr. Cooper, you signed birth certificate.
Yes, I did.
Amidst the storm, Mr. Cooper shares his side, detailing the emotional sacrifices he's made for his family's well-being, challenges, his commitment sacrifices he makes. The saga continues, and it's about to get even more heartfelt.
I'm having problems in my personal business life.
And ensuring the well-being of all children involved, regardless of the paternity outcome. Fasten your seatbelts. The verdict is just around the corner.
I believe all need to love they. Mr. Cooper, you are not her father.
Can you handle what just went down? Mr. Richardson, deep in regret, spills that he signed the birth certificate for a child he's not sure is his. He's dreading the wallet hit from child support for a kid he believes isn't his. Ms. Robbins counters with fire, claiming the DNA.
Signed the birth certificate of the 2-month-old son, DeMarlon, even though you doubt are his father. You want to prove your case before you end child support for a baby you isn't yours. You say plaintiff's only mistake is denying your son because you claim the DNA will prove that is DeMarlon's father.
That is correct.
Did that just happen? The courtroom heats up as Mr. Richardson's light-skinned appearance at birth, which baffled him. The judge jumps in, reminding everyone that kids can pop out looking like a rainbow of possibilities. Are we on a reality show? Ms. Robbins drops a bombshell, revealing she was still technically married when she first met Mr. Richardson, but later
serious relationship. I knew that I wanted to be with him. I decided that I wanted to tell him, and I showed him that I was divorced. And I hadn't been with no one else for him, so I don't understand the whole DNA part, especially if it was just me and him.
When you showed me that paper, it was on the internet. I looked it up.
And he said that anybody be on the internet, but I showed him the declaration.
declaration. He just doesn't believe anything, including that DeMarlon is his.
This just keeps getting juicier. Amidst the chaos, Ms. Robbins and Mr. Richardson walk us through the moment they found out about the pregnancy and their decision to embrace it despite the stormy weather in their relationship. This part of the tale explores how they grappled with doubts and duties amidst an unexpected pregnancy, uncovering layers of unresolved issues. The tension's not dropping yet. The next revelation is set to throw another curveball.
I wasn't feeling good, so I decided to go get a pregnancy test, and it was positive. I also got another pregnancy test. Mr. Richardson, he's so full on a lot of things. A pregnancy test together.
What do you want to do? We're gonna have the baby because we're doing some stupid stuff. I'm not gonna blame this child. We're gonna have it.
So you decided that we should have the baby.
And I was happy.
You think it can't get crazier, but oh, it does. The chat turns to a missed DNA appointment that sends Ms. Robbins' hesitance and Mr. Richardson's frustration through the roof, exposing a deep well of mistrust. The judge points out how Ms. Robbins' dodging seems to feed Mr. Richardson's doubts about paternity, suggesting she might be avoiding a face-off with the truth. Hang on, the saga takes a wild swing in the next segment.
Is this the first time you've tried to get a DNA test, Mr. Richardson?
No, it's not, Yana. She made an appointment. We supposed to 35, it was 2-something, to go get a DNA test. She said, I set an appointment. I'm gonna come at 4:30 when you get off work. I got there at 3 o'clock. Yes, you made the appointment. But you said it was 4:30. I got at your house at 3 o'clock. Dang, we sitting around.
But
I'm like, what's
the one
up?
who made the
Are we
appointment.
going to get this one again?
I'm the one who agreed on DNA even.
Grab your popcorn for this bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Richardson, you are father.
Mr. Alexander spills the tea on why he's doubting he's the dad, pointing fingers at mysterious late-night texts from a dude named Dexter. He's convinced that Ms. Stewart's sketchy behavior and flimsy alibis about her whereabouts scream infidelity.
Several reasons why my name should be removed from the birth certificate. For one night we were in the bed chilling. I seen text messages and several calls from this guy named Dexter. She wouldn't answer the phone when I was in the room. I guess she would wait until maybe I left or whatever. That's kind of a suspicion for me.
In a plot twist worthy of a soap opera, Ms. Stewart admits to sneaking a tracking device onto Mr. Alexander's phone to catch him in the act. She presents his late-night chats with another woman, ramping up the drama over who's cheating on whom.
I started feeling that he was cheating on me, and I went online, I guess try to see if there was a way that you could tell if your partner is cheating. And so I saw this website that says 7 ways to know if partner is cheating on you. Every single one doing everything that it said. And then at the bottom of the link it said tracking device on his phone. So I put it on there, and sure enough, there was a girl that he was talking to tracking device.
Throwing a curveball into the mix, Ms. Stewart confesses to faking text with Dexter to make Mr. Alexander jealous after she thought he was stepping out. This fake affair was her play to make him stew in his own jealous juices.
I came up with a plan with my best friend. I changed her name in my phone to Dexter, and I was texting her pretending I was talking to a dude just so that he would think I was cheating because he cheated.
I've seen the text messages about, can I come see you? How you doing?
Yeah,
like her man when I'm supposed to be her man. That's, like I said, that's doubts of cheating right there to me, if you ask me.
Courtney Alexander, Mr. Alexander's sister and longtime confidant of Ms. Stewart, steps up to the witness stand. He throws a wrench into the works by suggesting that Ms. Stewart's stories about Dexter might not be as fake as claimed.
I am Mr. Alexander's sister.
What do you know about this?
Ms. Stewart and I have been friends for over 15 years. We've always talked and told each other secrets about, having backup plans as far as if you have a boyfriend, keeping one on the side for when your boyfriend makes you mad, you just go talk to other guys or whatever. As far as this guy goes, it's not a hoax. Actually hang out all the time.
Ms. Stewart lays it all out, tearfully detailing how Mr. Alexander has been a ghost during her pregnancy and beyond, neglecting even to hold their daughter. This emotional testimony highlights the deep personal toll the paternity drama has taken.
He doesn't do anything. I asked him if he can make her a bottle, so I gave Jariah to him, went to go make the bottle, and when I come back, she's on the bed crying. He doesn't want, he hold her, he
Your
doesn't
Honor,
want to do anything.
You don't want to hold beautiful baby?
I'm not gonna take care of something that I don't know for sure if it's not mine.
Mr. Alexander, you are her father.
Can you believe what just unfolded? Mr. Moody accuses Miss Vaughn, who is a whopping 16 years younger, of being a serial cheater. He claims she has been unfaithful with multiple men and staunchly believes the DNA test will slap a big, fat, not the father on her 3-year-old son, Kadir. Miss Vaughn, on her part, admits to her escapades, but swears on her favorite lip gloss that Mr. Moody is the real dad. But hold on to your socks, because this is just the warm-up act.
Mr. Moody, say Miss Vaughn, who is 16 years your junior, is a serial cheater. Can't trust it. You claim claim cheated on you with multiple men, and you are convinced the DNA test proved that you did not father her 3-year-old son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Vaughn, admit you have been unfaithful, but say you are certain Mr. Moody is Kadir's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Buckle up, this part's a doozy. The plot thickens when Miss Vaughn drops a bombshell. It's possible her oldest might not call Mr. Moody daddy. This pushes them to march right into a DNA test shop for some truth serum. This revelation jolts Mr. Moody, even though the older kid turned out to be his. And just when you think it can't get crazier, it does.
So much so that you had to admit the oldest son may not be his.
I did admit it, yes, Your Honor.
So what happened then?
By her admitting it, you know I got to take the DNA test. I have to do this. So what I did, we got the money together, we went and took a DNA test. Come to find out, child was mine. No, I felt real good about that.
So you got that care of, but you say the warning signs kept happening?
You're not ready for this twist. Mr. Moody is digging through the dirt, literally. He finds grass in his car, which is weird, since Miss Vaughn claimed her passenger seat had been as empty as a politician's promises. This fresh layer of mystery cranks up his suspicion to new heights.
One day she drove to work, come home, I'm getting up that morning, I'm finna go to work. I get in the car. When I seen this, I ain't after that. When I get in the car, I look grass all on the floor of my car in there. Keep in mind now, before I seen that grass and all that stuff in the car, when what you had in the car? Oh, I ain't had nobody in the car.
The scene shifts to a lie detector test that Miss Vaughn flunked, not just failed. Mr. Moody had made it a deal breaker for their walk down the aisle. Her flubbing the test left him second guessing more than just her fidelity. Get ready, the next bit is a real jaw dropper.
So you say, Mr. Moody, she took a lie detector test and these are the results?
That thing cost me $400. Well, she wants to get married, young. I told her, you take this lie detector test, and if you pass this lie detector test, I'll marry you that same and get you a ring that following week. I was gonna go, oh, she finna surprise. Watch, you finna get this ring. Okay, whatever you say.
And now for the main event. The results of the lie detector test spill the beans. Miss Vaughn has been playing the field since 2013. This segment, rife with deceit about her dalliances, shatters any leftover trust Mr. Moody had. But wait, there's another twist on the horizon.
During the lie detector testing, you were asked, since 2013, have you had a sexual relationship any male than LaGrease? That would be Mr. Moody.
Liar.
You failed that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next question. Since 2013, have you lied to LaGrease about sexual contact you had with another male?
Liar.
You failed that.
Grab your popcorn for the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Moody, you are the father. Hello. No.
Can you even wrap your head around what just went down? The judge lays out the shocking nature of the case, feeling that Ms. Holthouse isn't sure if her 3-month-old son's dad is her ex, or get this, her own mother's boyfriend. The audience can't help but groan as they absorb the scandalous scenario. You won't believe what comes up next. Brace for it.
Ms. Holthouse, you are here paternity of your 3-month-old son, Zayden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Shockingly, you can either a man you shared a sexual relationship with who wants nothing to do with your child, who happens to be your mother's boyfriend. Now, Mr. Chenault, though you admit you were intimate with your girl daughter, you say you strongly fathered her child.
Yes, Sean.
Buckle up, because this ride gets wilder. Mr. Shinewald spills the beans on how a misdirected text message, complete with a typo, led to an illicit fling with his girlfriend's daughter. From innocent texts to not-so-innocent encounters, their story escalates faster than a soap opera. Just wait until you hear what happens next.
It started out as a text message, Your Honor. I received wasn't supposed to come to me, and a word was misspelled. A few days later, she had on clothing, little skirt, breast out. Next thing you know, one thing led to another. We started flirting with each other back and forth.
Did you ever think in your mind this is appropriate?
Seriously, did that just happen? In a twist straight out of a telenovela, Ms. Holthouse details a late-night call that led to a sneaky rendezvous at the park, complete with all the makings of a scandal. As she snuck out to meet him, the plot thickened. But hold your horses. The next part is even more jaw-dropping.
So I was asking him when he's gonna come over.
Did you have any intention about having a sexual relationship with your mother's boyfriend?
I had not really thought about it until I got a phone call. He was talking about having sex, going somewhere. I snuck out of my grandma's house that night. We went to a park.
And what happened at the park?
We had sexual relations.
Oh, it gets messy. It turns out Mr. Shinewald wasn't just keeping it in the family. He was playing a double game with both Ms. Holthouse and her mom. As the judge and audience express their disdain, the tangled web of lies and deceit becomes clearer. Stick around, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And who confessed?
Actually, I confessed. Yes, ma'am.
Also still sleeping with her mother during that time. Now you know that's just nasty.
Ms. Holthouse, how were you sneaking around behind your mother's with her boyfriend?
We would just, when she's not there, she left to go somewhere. Sometimes when she's asleep.
Just when you think it couldn't escalate further, Ms. Holthouse's mom nearly catches her and Mr. Shinewald in a compromising position. What followed was a massive blowout, revealing the depth of their sneaky affairs. But wait, there's more chaos to come.
Did she ever almost catch you?
Yes, she caught me standing in front of her, my pants unzipped. She was really furious and upset and got into huge arguments and fights about things that were going on.
When you found out you were pregnant, Ms. Holthouse, did your mother know anything about this?
At the moment, I did not know, but as my mom was pregnant with my sister.
As if this couldn't get any more convoluted, Ms. Bogardus, the mother herself, steps into the court. Her reaction to discovering the dual betrayal by her partner and daughter adds another layer of drama to this already explosive situation. The next revelation is even more staggering, so stay tuned.
Mr. Shinewald has been honest with this court. He's admitted he's been carrying on a sexual relationship with your daughter. At the same time, he was in a sexual relationship with you.
Yes.
Did they deny it at first? But your intuition told you something was going on.
Right, because my daughter was acting funny. If I was sitting on the couch next to Mr. Shinewald and I would get up to go to the bathroom, she would get up out of the chair across the room to sit by him.
You'll need to sit down for this one. The judge is floored to learn Mr. Shinewald has known Ms. Holthouse since she was a baby and even had a hand in raising her. The creep factor just skyrocketed. Get ready, because the fallout from this bombshell is monumental.
So you watched her grow up.
Your Honor, also helped raise her.
Now this just keeps getting nasty. So how will this change if you're his father or if you're his father?
Me and Miss just have to figure something out.
Are we willing to consent to the lie detector test?
Gear up for more twists. The current living situation is disclosed, revealing that everyone still lives under one roof, which adds an unbearable tension to an already strained atmosphere. This revelation has everyone gasping. What comes next will shake things up even further.
And so how often do you get to see Zay?
We actually all stayed together.
You all live together, and you two are trying to work on and save your relationship.
Well, there are rules laid down for me, her daughter. We're not to be in the same room together. We're not allowed to talk or text each other. Supposed to really even be around each other. Turns down the TV so she can hear the conversations that we're having.
Just when you think it's all out in the open, judge, suspecting more hidden truths, offers Ms. Holthouse and Mr. Shinewald a lie detector test to uncover further secrets. They both decline, but the story doesn't end there. Prepare for more eyebrow-raising moments in the following scenes.
That's how we can better ask questions. And that's why I just gave you all the opportunity to tell the truth. Because it's obvious from where I'm sitting, aren't telling the truth. And there's more to this story. See, we deal in scientific evidence here. So I want to know if both of you're not sleeping together anymore and haven't slept together. Timber, we have access and we can take a lie detector test.
And now for the grand reveal.
It has been determined by this court. You are not his father.
In a plot twist you didn't see coming, Ms. Ferguson drags her mom into court, question the paternity of the man who raised her, now suspecting he might not be her real dad. She spills the beans on the bombshell she just uncovered, prompting a DNA test demand. Strap in, because the courtroom roller coaster is just getting started.
Ms. Ferguson, you've brought your mother to court today because you were recently shocked to learn Ken Ferguson, who raised you your entire life, may not biological father. You have petitioned the court paternity test on Mr. Ferguson. We'll hear from in a moment.
Ms. Munsell stuns the courtroom as she admits to her daughter, everyone present, that she had multiple partners around the time of her daughter's conception, putting the paternity into question. She's clinging to hope that the DNA results will fix their broken relationship, no matter what pops out of the envelope. Buckle up, the next curve is a doozy.
Ms. Munsell, you acknowledge that you finally confessed to your daughter that you slept with more than one man at the time of. You two are unsure what today's results will be, but hope that either way they will help care the relationship with your daughter. Please tell me, how relationship with your daughter get to this?
I have no idea. Things that were said, things that were done.
Alicia lays it all out there, airing the dirty laundry about how her relationship with her mom went south, detailing years of feeling overlooked and unimportant. This led her to confront her stepdad about her mom's secret life. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, the next revelation is a jaw drop.
My mom's husband, my stepfather. We met up and we started talking. I confessed everything I knew about the past. I knew she was cheating on him. I've seen text messages, I've seen the guys, I've seen do things that I just shouldn't know a mother. She should have been the one to show me
You know
cheating.
what, Alicia? Perfect. And I'm not here to be degraded like this by my own.
Amid gasps and murmurs, Alicia continues to unpack the messy family saga, detailing her mom's cheating ways and how it skewed her views on love and trust. She recounts the emotional toll it took on her and her relationships. The drama thickens. Wait till you hear what comes next.
I let it all out. Everything I was keeping secrets from him. I was supposed to be her little secret. Supposed to be the only one to know that that she was sleeping around, handle it anymore because I love him like I love him. I figure I have 2 dads, and now this dad is telling me that this dad might not even be my real father, because when he said that to me.
In a heartfelt testimony, Ken Ferguson steps up, firm in his belief that Alicia is his daughter, despite the swirling rumors stirred up by Ms. Munsel's past escapades. He shares his deep-seated doubts and the hurt stemming from the uncertainty that he might not be her biological father. The plot thickens. Get ready for the twist.
You thought Miss Ferguson, this young woman, was your daughter.
Yeah, I believe she was my daughter.
Why do you have the doubt?
When I first met her at a party, I found out after this because that's when we met. I slept with 4 guys that night. It was my friend.
4 guys in one night. You know this for a fact, or you heard?
No, and we were dating and moved in with each other. Within like 2 weeks, sister started calling me saying, hey, they're down at...
The courtroom is thick with emotion as Ms. Ferguson and her mother dive deep into their tumultuous relationship, exploring the possibilities for forgiveness and understanding, regardless of the paternity test outcome. The emotional roller coaster is far from over. The climax is up next, and it's a tearjerker.
That's a good idea. I think we need the results. Jerome, before I read these results, what are you hoping these results will achieve? Because you say you came here for your daughter.
To give her a peace of mind, but I know what the results are going to be. It's going to be Ken.
And Miss Ferguson, what do you want?
Relief and repair.
Everyone leans in as Judge Lake gears up to unveil the DNA test results, which could confirm or flip the entire family narrative, possibly redefining relationships and personal identities. The moment of truth is upon us. Grab your popcorn. This reveal is going to be epic.
I want to have to choose all the time. I don't want her to give up on me, so I want repair from that, and I want repair Dad to know that my mom was a noise. I just want us all to be somewhat a family instead of me just knowing them never to get along.
And I want to say that
when it comes to Alicia Ferguson, Mr. Ferguson, you are her father.
Strap in for this roller coaster opener. Ms. Crow lays it all out, explaining why she's dragged everyone into court today. She's determined to prove that Ms. Reinhardt's late son is the father of her child, Thomas, aiming to cement his identity, accusing Ms. Reinhardt of trying her best to throw a wrench in her plans. And guess what? It only gets wilder from here.
Ms. Crow, you have summoned the defendant to court to prove that her son, J.C. Turner, fathered your 2-year-old son, Thomas. You want Thomas to know who his father, and you say that Ms. Reinhardt has done everything she can sabotage your efforts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things heat up fast. Ms. Reinhardt fires back, calling Ms. Crow a manipulator and firmly denying that her son could be Thomas's father. She accuses Ms. Crow of using her son for financial gain, both before and after his unfortunate passing. Buckle up, because the next part is a doozy.
Ms. Reinhardt, you state Crow is a liar and a manipulator, and that the child in question is not the deceased son's baby. You say Ms. Crow used your son for money when he was alive. It's trying to claim him as her son's father only to get death benefits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Crank up the drama dial. Ms. Crow reminisces about the early days, sharing how she made sure her newborn son could hear his dad's voice over the phone, painting a picture of a mom trying to bridge a father-son connection from miles away. Emotional? Yes, and it's just the setup for more revelations to come.
It is more than just the money. I would like help with my son. Yes, of course. My son cannot grow and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father and to know who his family is.
Talk to him about his father, or have...
Actually, when my son was born and he was, just a few months, I would talk on the phone every day with Jay, and I would on speakerphone so his son could hear his voice.
You won't see this twist coming. Ms. Reinhardt throws skepticism into the mix, questioning the timeline of Ms. Crow's pregnancy based on some eyebrow-raising observations about Ms. Crow's physical appearance early on. Her emotional testimony underscores her profound doubts and turmoil. Stick around. The emotional fireworks are just getting started.
In the time period, the frame she said she was, when she told me she was pregnant, it didn't happen that way. There's no way she could have 2 weeks pregnant and had a stomach firm as she did.
You're saying she couldn't have a stomach as firm?
I mean, after 2 weeks, you don't have a stomach as firm as that.
Here's where the plot thickens. Ms. Crow spills the beans on her whirlwind romance with Jay, from their fast-paced love story, the unprotected liaisons that she believes led to her pregnancy. She's convinced of Jay's paternity because, according to her, he was her one and only during that time. The tale spirals from here, so keep watching.
When I first met Jay, we were at a skate park. I noticed him a lot, and I called him over to me and had a conversation. From that conversation, we ended up walking feelings, and it did happen all too. He did ask me to be his girlfriend, and we did have unprotected sex as well. There's no doubt in my mind that I did not sleep with anybody else. When I was with him, to me, there's no other option.
Grab some popcorn for this revelation. In a heart-wrenching moment, Ms. Reinhardt discusses her son's mental and health issues, accusing Ms. Crow of exploiting his vulnerabilities for her gain. The complex dynamics and intense emotions highlighted here set the the stage for even more gut-wrenching moments. The next segment will hit you right in the feels.
He'd have believed you if you told him the sky was.
Well, that's your own
The
opinion.
capacity of a senior-year-old.
And this how he had feelings.
He was schizophrenic and he had stress seizures.
And I took care of him. I didn't leave him because of that.
And she could have told him that she was pregnant. That's his.
So you're saying he did not have the discernment, say, I don't believe that's my baby?
No, I've had 8 grandkids, and all 8 of my grandkids favor me. I've got a baby picture.
Dive deeper into the saga. Ms. Crow describes the tumultuous circumstances around her son's birth and her decision to end things with Jay due to his irresponsible behavior, shedding light on the personal struggles and hard choices she faced. The emotional roller coaster is far from over.
In which the baby was born. JC participating in the birth.
Me and JC, at the time we were living together, it was 2015. I have decided no longer go any further in the relationship because I have 2 other kids. I'm pregnant and he's a grown man. He's doing what he wants and I can't stop him. He comes home one night and he's drunk or wide open. We don't live in the best neighborhood.
The tension is cranked to 11. A fiery exchange kicks off over Ms. Crow's intentions with the paternity test and potential benefits after Jay's death. Ms. Reinhardt challenges Ms. Crow's actions and motives during the 9 months after the child's birth, insinuating a greedy angle to her pursuit. But hold on, the next revelation will have you on the edge of your seat.
Be in contact and get the DNA, and the benefits are all in hopes that your son will know his father. But what were you doing actively for those 9 months to make sure your child knew his father?
Well,
nothing.
Like I said, it dated earlier.
Nothing.
I lost my father 3rd month of that year and father of my son 7th month of that year. I was going through stuff my own 7-year-old daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter.
As the verdict looms, air is thick with anticipation. The court prepares to unveil the DNA test results, ending the suspense and potentially resolving the heated paternity dispute. Every heart in the room is pounding with anticipation, and the outcome will tug at your heartstrings. Prepare for an emotional avalanche that's about to hit.
He was mad with me because he believed I was stealing his money. I was the one making sure his bills were paid. He had a 2-bedroom.
And I was there and he didn't have nowhere to go. I paid for him. I had somewhere to stay. I didn't have that money, but I made sure he was okay.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow is 99.6% are related.
Buckle up, because Mr. Fisher is starting us off with a bombshell. Mr. Fisher opens his case, expressing his regret over signing the birth certificate of 2-month-old Sophia, following the revelation by his fiancée, Ms. Doyle, that he might not be the father. His despair is palpable as he recounts how this news was dropped on him just 1 month ago. Just wait, Ms. Doyle's side of the story is up next, and it's a doozy.
Mr. Fisher, you claim you made the biggest mistake of your life by signing the birth certificate of 2-month-old Sophia. You say your fiancé dropped a bomb on you 1 ago and admitted you may be her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
As Ms. Doyle steps up, the room fills with anticipation. Ms. Doyle admits her infidelity and expresses her hope that Mr. Fisher is indeed Sophia's father. Her emotional state is evident as she stands in court, hoping for a positive resolution to the paternity question that hangs over the family. Hang on, because Mr. Fisher's reaction is just around the corner and it's heart-wrenching.
Ms. Doyle, you admit to making the biggest mistake of your life by cheating on Mr. Fisher, but stand in court hoping and praying is Sophia's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, watch as Mr. Fisher spills his guts out here. A heartfelt moment occurs as Mr. Fisher describes his emotions: sorrow, pain, and betrayal. He recalls the initial joy of fatherhood, which was harshly interrupted by the revelation of Ms. Doyle's affair, dramatically altering his experience and expectations of fatherhood. And just when you think it can't get more intense, the plot thickens.
Can you tell me what you feel?
Sorrow, pain, everything. It all hurts bad.
Because for the month, this baby's life, you had no doubt that brand new feeling of being a dad was just ripped
right down the middle.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Ms. Doyle's backstory is a roller coaster. Ms. Doyle details the events leading to her infidelity, explaining how a misunderstanding about Mr. Fisher's fidelity led her to seek comfort with another man, ultimately resulting in unprotected intimate violence. This confession sets the stage for the paternity uncertainty surrounding Sophia. Strap in, because the emotional twists are just getting started.
One of his family members, I was vacationing with one of his family members in Florida, and another one of his family members that he was with at the time had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt, and so I went to be by myself, pool area where I was at the time. A guy walked up to me, and he's like, well, you look like you need somebody. Do you want to go to my camper and talk?
Here's a twist. The happiest day of Mr. Fisher's life comes with a shadow. Mr. Fisher recounts the blissful day he learned of Ms. Doyle's pregnancy, juxtaposed with her internal turmoil knowing the infidelity that had had occurred. This contrast highlights the complex emotions both parties were dealing with, amidst what should have been purely a joyful revelation. But hold on, there's more drama as they head to the delivery room.
The day I found out she was pregnant, she had threw up like 3 or 4 times because she was feeling sick. We purchased the pregnancy tests to the house. She took them. One had a faint line, and then one had both lines. And I was happy. That was the best day of my life.
Whenever I took the pregnancy test, I knew that I had cheated on him. So whenever I seen the lines, I was like, well, this isn't happening, you know?
As we dive into the birth story, get ready for some feels. The birth of Sophia is described by Mr. Fisher as he recounts the emotional support he provided during the delivery, believing wholeheartedly that he was the father. He shares the profound connection and joy he felt, signing the birth certificate without a doubt in his mind. Next up is Doyle's guilt starts to unravel, and it's a tearjerker.
When she was giving birth, I held her hand, I felt like I was the dad, which at the time, I was pretty sure I was. I held her, kept telling her, push, push, push. I want to see my baby. And afterwards, right there, I held her. I signed the birth certificate and everything. I thought it was my baby. We stayed there for 3 days. Those 3 days were the most important, made wonderful.
As Ms. Doyle comes clean, the stakes couldn't be higher. The turmoil increases as Ms. Doyle, overwhelmed by guilt, reveals her infidelity to Mr. Fisher after Sophia's birth. The emotional weight of this revelation is shared, as Mr. Fisher grapples with the news but decides to stay and care for Sophia regardless of the paternity outcome. The moment of truth is just ahead, and it's going to be a jaw-dropper.
How do you remember that night?
We just fun all day that day, holding Sophia, spending time with her, just quality time. And she started looking at Sophia, started crying, kept crying. She told me she cheated on me. I tell her I love her, she's my world, so is Sophia. I shouldn't have to stay care of some other man because that's what a man is supposed to do. I'll stay and take care of her because I know she thinks that I'm the father.
Ready for the big reveal? Here it comes.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fisher, you are the father.
Can you believe this drama unfolding? Ms. Bronson opens her case against Mr. Roberts, who she has always believed to be her father, but now he's got doubts about his paternity. She lays out her need for clarity after Mr. Roberts threw this curveball, following a recent shocking revelation. You'll want to keep watching. It's just heating up.
Ms. Bronson, you always known the defendant to be your biological, but have opened your case against him to prove paternity because he now claims he has reason to deny is your father.
Your Honor.
This part is a total jaw-dropper. Mr. Roberts spills the beans about his world being flipped upside down. Another guy, Mr. Banks, is claiming he might be Ms. Bronson's real dad. This bombshell has Mr. Roberts reeling from the impact. Brace yourself. The emotional roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
Mr. Robert, you believed Bronson was your firstborn 3 years ago when your world was turned upside down. The news that you may not biological father, and Mr. claims he is, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you see that coming? Ms. Bronson stands her ground, asserting with heartfelt conviction that Mr. Roberts is her dad. No matter what the DNA might say, she's been his daughter all her life. No test result is going to change her feelings. Buckle up. The revelations keep getting wilder.
Your Honor, I feel Mr. Roberts is my father. He's the only father I've known 29 years. That's my father, period. I know him my whole life. That's it.
Mr. Roberts, what is your side?
Well, I always believed that Jasmine was my daughter. I raised her as my daughter as the other children in my life. Only knows me as a father.
This twist will have you grabbing your popcorn. Back in 2009, Ms. Bronson's mom dropped a bombshell over the phone, mentioning Mr. Banks might be her biological father. This news sent shockwaves through Ms. Bronson's life, marking a significant pivot in her family saga. Don't go anywhere. The plot thickens.
What happened in 2009?
I had a phone conversation with my mother. Then she said, Mr. Banks, and she said, don't you remember the guy that I told you who thought he was your father? When she said that to me, Your Honor, it was a what moment, like, what are you talking about? So she said that he wanted to get in contact with me. I think I gave her my number to give to him, or she gave me his. I can't remember how we actually got in contact. We reached out to one another.
Did you know Mr. Banks?
No, Your Honor.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Mr. Roberts recounts how his fiancée, Ms. Blair, broke the news to him about the paternity doubts, which shook his world to its core. He's been the dad all along, financially and emotionally, and this revelation feels like a betrayal. Watch out. The next part is a doozy.
Ms. Blair told me that she needed to talk to me about something, and that's when I found out. I was kept in the dark about all this. I never knew anything about, spent 8 months in jail for unpaid child support, $75,000 in arrears.
You didn't get a call. Your fiance comes to you and says,
possibility that Jasmine is not my biological, and that took me for a loop after all these years. I was like, I had paused for a minute. I was like, what?
Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Banks recounts a seemingly random park encounter where he was first tipped off about possibly being being Ms. Bronson's dad. This fleeting moment didn't lead to anything concrete then, just adding to the current confusion and turmoil. The emotional ante is about to be upped, so stay tuned.
I can recall when she was about 6 or 7, and I ran to her mother, Jasmine, and her sister in the park. She had told me that Jasmine, my daughter then.
Jasmine's mother said, do you remember the words she used?
I just recall her saying Jasmine was my daughter.
And Jasmine was there too?
Yes.
This is an absolute game changer. Ms. Bronson talks about her Thanksgiving visit in 2011 to Mr. Banks' mother's house, an event not shared with Mr. Roberts, which throws another wrench into the already complicated family dynamic. Gear up, the surprises are just getting started.
So you met Mr. Banks, you went to his home Thanksgiving in 2011, that's true?
And I went to his mother's house.
You went to his mother's house. How long did it take for you to inform you believe was your biological father that I had this encounter with Banks?
I didn't tell Mr. Roberts that happened.
You didn't tell him at all?
At the time, I didn't feel comfortable to tell him. I don't want to be the one to come and tell somebody that you're not my job. So I didn't do it.
Get ready for the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Robert, you are not the father.
Can you believe that just happened? Mr. Matthews stands up in court, looking slightly uneasy but determined, as he admits to the judge that he truly believes Kiona is his biological daughter. He dives into a heartfelt confession about his past mistakes, emphasizing how much he's aiming to prove his paternity today. You won't believe what comes next. Stick around for the juicy bits.
Mr. Matthews, you say you've made mess in your life, but the worst is not being a good to the defendant's daughter. You claim that has caused her to deny you are her daughter's father. You hear prove the truth. She, biologically, is yours.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Did that really just unfold right in front of our eyes? With a serious look, Ms. Contra, Shaw confirms her firm belief that another man, definitely not Mr. Matthews, is Kiona's real dad. This bombshell sets the stage for an intense court battle to uncover the truth about Kiona's paternity, adding layers of emotional stakes to the mix. The tension is mounting, and you'll want to see what happens next.
Ms. Shaw, you admit your daughter believed that Mr. Matthews had, but now stand in court to prove that another man is her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
How shocking was that revelation? In a surprising twist, Mr. Matthews opens up about his failures as a father, leading to this very moment of paternity dispute. Ms. Shaw isn't buying his redemption arc, though, challenging his past actions with a skeptical tone. This adds a complex layer to their already strained relationship against the backdrop of this paternity drama. Keep watching. The drama escalates from here, and it's getting good.
When I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, so I can understand that Ms. Thompson would want to act the way she does. I tried to reach out to her on Facebook. She was kind of angry at me because of my episodes in my life.
So you're saying you were not a good father?
Not at all.
Your belief is that this whole issue is surrounding failure to be a good father.
That's true.
Is that true, Ms. Shaw?
No, Your Honor.
Who could have seen that coming? The court gasps as revelations about Mr. Matthews's and Ms. Shaw's marital statuses at the time of their alleged affair come to light, suggesting ulterior motives, hidden agendas behind denying paternity. It's like a soap opera, but in real life, the surprises just keep on coming, and you won't want to miss what's next.
And you had a husband?
Yes.
Oh, so you came to court with your wife. No wonder you said you never had sex with this woman. And you had a husband.
Yes.
So you two were basically cheating on your spouses one another.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you get to the magistrate, says, I've never had sex with that woman, and the magistrate rules.
This twist was unexpected. Ms. Shaw recounts a pivotal moment when she decided not to pursue paternity further after Mr. Matthews blatantly lied in front of a magistrate. This key scene underscores the long-standing tensions and the emotional toll of this unresolved issue on everyone involved. What happens next will definitely catch you off guard. Grab your popcorn.
The magistrate and asked me, did I want to go forward? And I told him no.
That wasn't what happened.
I never approached him at that point. His wife already knew at that point about Kiana. She didn't have a problem. Kiana was going to their house before this took place, and it was just a blatant lie.
That ain't what happened. She was married, I was married. She was doing her own thing, I was doing my own thing. You know, and when she told me she was pregnant, I was too busy trying to enjoy myself because I wasn't trying to be.
This is a game changer. Amidst the courtroom drama, Mr. Matthews admits that his fear of losing his wife and his reluctance to take responsibility for a child influenced his previous dishonesty. This candid admission sheds light on his personal struggles and the complicated web of relationships at play. The plot thickens, and the next part is even more revealing.
And you knew you weren't telling the truth. Was that because you were scared to lose your wife? That
Yes.
because you did not want to be bothered with a child?
A little bit of both.
But Ms. Shaw, you said that Kiana had already gone over to their house.
Yes.
So how old was Kiana when you were at this magistrate here?
She was 8.
Kiana, so you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So you remember going over his house?
At least
Just once I remember going over for Halloween.
And your mother told you you're going over to your father's house, and you knew he had a wife
and other kids.
That revelation changes everything. Ms. Shaw throws another curveball as she reveals her doubts about Keona's paternity, despite initiating the case against Mr. Matthews. Her confession highlights the tangled web of emotions and moral dilemmas she's grappling with. The following moments will deepen the intrigue. Honestly, it's more tangled than Holiday Lights.
So why did you open the case against Mr. Matt? Always knew that there was another possibility.
Because when my daughter would go to his house, most of the time she'd be there with his wife. That's why she was crazy about his wife. His kids, those are like her siblings. For him to come in, I wanted to get it out the way while she was still young, that if he's not the father, I don't have to put her through this abuse anymore.
What an intricate web of relationships. As the discussion unfolds, it becomes clear that Ms. Shaw's romantic entanglements have created a confusing backdrop for multiple potential paternal figures in Keona's life. This revelation adds significant depth to the family dynamics and the challenges they face. You'll be amazed at what's revealed next. This episode is like a reality TV goldmine.
At what point did you hear that there could be another possibility besides Mr. Matt?
I always knew that her husband at the time could have been my father. Mr. Brooks could have been my father, Mr. Matt. I always knew that it could have been.
So you grew up knowing that there were at least 3 possibilities of who could be your father. I would prefer this one or that one. I know this one better. Mr. Matthews was the man you wanted to be your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why him?
It was just the way that I saw him with his other kids.
That confession was heartrending as Mr. Matthews reflects on his colorful past and its impact on his relationships, especially with Keona. He presents a raw and introspective look at his desires to make amends. His honesty might just tug at your heartstrings. Brace yourself for the emotional outcome. It's about to get even more heartfelt.
I enjoyed my life.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's in the context of your enjoyment was.
Right.
Kiana wasn't having that much.
Right.
That's true.
She was at your house and you love on your other babies and wishing as a child that she could experience the same kind of love, but was feeling out of place. So I want to understand this. You have Kiana at your home. Your wife knows about Kiana.
Yeah. That outcome was totally unexpected. The courtroom holds its breath as the judge reveals that Mr. Brooks is not Keona's father, sending shockwaves through the room. This intense moment cranks up the emotional drama as the mystery around Keona's paternity deepens, affecting everyone involved, especially Keona. The final revelation is just around the corner, and trust me, it's a doozy.
Because you felt there was a chance that he would love you the same. No child should have to sit. And it's okay to tell people while you were out having fun, I was living in fear. Because to live with your guard up your whole life, that's difficult too. Jerome, let's get the results. It has been determined by this court, Brooks is not father.